What is up, YouTube world? Hey, this is Disciple coming at you from Not By Sight. Thanks for coming along with us today. I thought I would take a minute and show you the gear that I finished the Appalachian Trail with last year and am fixing to start the Appalachian Trail with this year. So hang on and let's go through it together. Let's start with what we call the big three, and this here is my Packs Classic 20 degree sleeping bag. I did the majority of the trail last year with this. I did switch to a lighter bag in the summer months, but that's the bag I started and ended with and carried them by far the majority of the trail. And I will be using the Packs sleeping bag again. This is the dry sack that it comes in. One of the first tip: you have to keep your sleeping bag dry. The Appalachian Trail is extremely wet. It is a rainforest environment nearly the whole way, so it rains a lot. And you have to keep your sleeping bag dry, and you have to keep a set of clothing dry so you can get into them and get warm. So there is the sleeping bag that I'm going to be using. It's not one of the big three, but I'm right here. I'm using my Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite pad, regular width. I'm using my Sea to Summit Aeros pillow. Definitely helps me get a better night's sleep, and it matches my sleeping bag. Move around here real quickly to my pack. Is the same pack I did half the trail with last year, and that's the Packs Arc Blast. My tent is, well, we're going to be taking two tents because of the family. This is the Packs Triplex, so a three-person tent, which I believe all four of us can sleep in fairly comfortably. So we're going to be taking the triplex, and I think I'm going to start with taking the duplex also, just so we can spread out a little more, see how it goes, and keep our two little ones apart. Otherwise, like I think through the Smokies, we're probably just going to take the one triplex tent, but we'll see how it goes. So that's not 100% decided which tent we're going to be, how we're going to be working out the tent situation. But to start with, triplex and duplex. All right, I'm going to show you real quickly the front of my Arc Blast and kind of how I set it up real quickly. I got a review of this pack that I've got a lot of comments that it was a good review. So taking a spot, I strap it to one of the daisy chains on my shoulder straps. I like to tie a bandana to my strap to wipe sweat from my face and my eyes, and wipe my nose when it's dripping or whatever. I put a couple of shoulder pouches on to put my phone in, my drink mixes, things like that. I also use hip belt pockets on my hip belts to keep my water filter and like a snack or something real easily accessible. And then I do have a whistle on the side of my pack. I got that way up north, New Hampshire or Maine last year, just in case. It's super light. So there is my pack, sleeping bag, and tent. And let's go to warm weather gear, because we're starting at the end of March, the 24th, and the South is going through incredible cold snaps right now. So this is the cold weather gear. However, I carried my Puffy the entire trail last year. This year I have upgraded to a Montbell down anorak hoodie. I'm saving about 5 or 7 ounces switching to this Puffy, and so far I absolutely love it. It seems equally warm as my REI Co-op that I wore last year, but it is a lot lighter. So I'm definitely digging that. I have 2 pair of hiking socks and 1 pair of sleep socks. So I'm going to move around the bedpost here. So let's see. Let's keep on with clothing. I carry a Packs little fleece beanie, weighs 0.9 ounces, super light and very warm. I carry a pair of Patagonia thermal weight long john bottoms for my base layer, and a Patagonia Capilene thermal weight top also, the half zip. That is my pajamas, my sleep clothes, and also my emergency hiking clothing. So those right there, along with the beanie, are for sleep and emergency. I carry a pair of Outdoor Research, just some fleece and wool gloves. They're kind of medium weight, but they breathe a little bit and they keep you warm even when they're wet. They got the touch fingers. I really like these gloves. Carried those at the cold ends of the trail last year. I've got a smart wool beanie. So that right there is my stocking cap when I'm walking. It's my face mask. It's my ear cover. This thing has a million uses, and you don't need like redundant stocking caps if you have a beanie. This thing keeps the wind off of you. It just does a miracle. Keep it around your neck when you're hiking, and it adds a ton of warmth. At least for me it does. So I definitely recommend carrying a lightweight beanie. And that is it for clothing. No extra skivvies, no extra anything. This setup is for a typical spring season with the emergency cold weather snaps. This is not a I know it's going to be cold setup. If I knew it was going to be cold, I would be carrying another base layer bottom and another base layer top that I have made of smart wool, that I would use these for hiking and the smart wool strictly for sleeping. So that's what I would add if I knew it was going to be cold, but I'm banking on the weather being typical spring Appalachian Trail weather. So this clothing is a little light for most people, but I run a little warm, and I'm carrying a Outdoor Research Helium 2 rain jacket. Carried this the entire way last year. And I've got a pair of Outdoor Research Helium pants. So if it's breezy, I wear my shorts and those pants, and they keep me very warm while I'm walking. If I have to, I can slip on my base layer pants and my rain pants, and I'm good down below 30 degrees with that setup walking. I've bringing along a t-shirt, which is not actually shown here, and I'm going to be wearing a long-sleeved shirt. And so there are my, other layers, and I'll show you my clothing here in just a moment. So there's my clothing setup. There is my big 3 items. So let's move on to personal. Well, here's my trekking poles. Lakey Cork Light trekking poles. I used these the entire trail last year. I did get them replaced once in New Jersey because they had bent. One of the locks, the bottom section of the pole had kind of come loose. And anyway, I bought them at REI, so they warranted them for me. But I love these poles, definitely, and appreciate them. This is a new addition this year. My Halo got me this umbrella for Christmas. And it's one of those chrome dome, like a Go Light chrome dome type umbrellas. And I'm going to take this. I'm going to carry this along. It's 8 ounces. It's pretty heavy, but with the children especially, this is a way that they can kind of get out of the rain if they need to. I can get out of the rain and take a pill or eat a Pop-Tart or whatever and not be just getting rained on. So I'm going to carry the umbrella. It may not go very far. I may keep it the whole way. I have no idea. But I'm at least going to start with it. So here is my personal items. Pretty minimalistic. I've got a toothbrush. I went ahead and sawed the very fat end off, but it's nearly full length. Still as functional as full length without the tiny bit of end. I've got a small travel thing of toothpaste that I overfilled from my bigger tube. I love brushing my teeth. It makes me feel cleaner if I can at least have clean teeth. So I brush morning and night minimum, sometimes in the middle of the day. So I carry a decent amount of toothpaste. I've got some pills here, some pain pills, some ibuprofen, and some Tylenol. So just those, and I keep them in little sandwich bags, and I resupply those in my resupply boxes. I've got some earplugs and a piece of gear repair tape in there. Then my first aid / repair kit is extremely minimalistic. I have some KT tape. I highly recommend KT tape. You don't even need Band-Aids if you've got KT tape, but it's awesome for blisters. It stays on for days and days, even with wet feet or whatever. KT tape is the bomb. I've got some backup lithium-ion batteries for my Spot device. I've got a few more ibuprofen in there, some muscle relaxers because I have a tendency to have a bad back. So I've got that, and a couple of Band-Aids. I've got 2 alcohol swabs that I wouldn't even bring, but we've got kids. And I've got some gear repair tape in there, some Cuban fiber tape. A patch for my Thermarest, which, by the way, it made it. I carried the X-Therm in the very beginning, but that thing I carried 3/4 of the way, and I've had 0 problems, and I totally trust it. But that is my first aid, batteries, backup, everything, very light and minimalistic, because you just don't need much. First aid on the Appalachian Trail, here's tip number 2. All you have to do is be able to get to either a larger group of other hikers or town. So you're talking a couple of miles maybe to get to another shelter, or very few miles to get to a town to get more extensive medical help if you need it. So you don't need to carry much at all. So there's that. I wear contacts and glasses, so here's my little glasses case. And here is, for headlamp, I've got a Petzl E-Light with backup batteries in the little bag. That keeps it waterproof. You don't want this to get wet, but I've always got my cell phone for backup light, plus Halo and the kids each have a headlamp. So that's why I'm going with super minimalistic light. If I was going to be night hiking, I wouldn't take this. But since I'm not going to be, because of the children, this is plenty of light for in the tent or to find something out, outside the camp in the dark. No problem there. I highly recommend some Gold Bond powder. Thing's about half full or whatever. It's super lightweight. But for me, this was a lifesaver when I would be wet for days and get a little chafing going. I don't chafe normally, so I don't need to carry Body Glide. But this helps. Put this on at night. Put it on your feet. Put it in areas that may rub, and it definitely makes life more enjoyable on the trail. So very small amount of weight. The worst thing is it's kind of bulky, but no big deal. My food bag is a Z-Packs Bear Bag Kit. Right now I've got 4 days worth of food in it, and I've got the bear rope and the little rock sack in there, and I carry a long-handled titanium spoon. So that is the full extent of my food bag and that sort of thing. Here is, there's my backup contact lenses. I wrote new on there, so I knew which ones were like brand new, and then I'm wearing my old ones as long as I need to. Here's my battery electronic setup. I've carried an Anker 13,500 milliamp battery. You probably don't need one this large. I'm vlogging, and I use my phone for everything. It's my camera, it's my video camera, it's my Bible, it's my audio books, it's my everything. So I carry a little larger battery. It gives me peace of mind that I'm not going to be running out in between towns. So I carry the 13.5 and just a small little wall charger. And then I carry 2 short cords. Make sure your cords are long enough to reach from a standard outlet down to the ground, or else your battery is going to be hanging in the air when you get to a hostel or a restaurant or wherever you're going to charge your stuff. So something to think about for cords. Toilet paper and a deuce of spades trowel. Guys, here's like tip number 3. Tip number 3 is, if you don't take a trowel and I find you on the trail, I'm going to take my umbrella and wallop you with it. You have to have a trowel. Imagine a party that you're having in your backyard with several thousand of your closest friends, and everyone's going to be there through their morning need to relieve themselves. And they go out into your yard with a trekking pole or a stick or a tent stake or whatever, and try digging a big hole 6 to 8 inches deep to relieve themselves in, bury their toilet paper, and then cover it back up so that you can walk on it and not even know it was there. And it's not going to happen. Imagine several thousand of your friends doing that in your yard. You would want them to use a trowel so they can dig a good hole and bury it nice and deep and safe, and then cover it up with a big stick or whatever at the end so no one steps on it. Guys, please use a trowel. Tip number 3, don't use one and you'll get hit with the umbrella. All right. One thing I'm doing this year that I didn't do is I'm carrying 2 little tiny pack towels. I mean, together they were like less than 1 ounce, but with my contacts, I have to keep my hands pretty clean, so I'm bringing along an extra little towel. Last year, I just carried one of these, and it served me as like a chamois to dry my tent, to dry my body. When you get in the tent and it's been raining all day, you want to get dried off. And so anyway, I'm carrying 2 little towels. This is for nighttime going potty. I use this big mouth lid. It works very well for me. It weighs like 1 ounce or whatever. It's awesome. Super lightweight, but has a good lid. And I can go potty without getting out of my sleeping bag. That's awesome. Sorry, ladies. And then this, instead of like my regular cold soaking, I used another one of these last year to cold soak my food in, and I labeled them very differently so I knew which one was potty and which one was for food. But this year, since Halo likes to cook, I'm going ahead and bringing my little Snow Peak 700 pot, but it's just a little heavier than the other pot, but I can cook with this if I want to, and I can take hot beverages in here, coffee or whatever, and I can eat hot food out of this. So I'm going ahead and bringing my little pot. However, the lid is heavy, so I've got 2 pieces of doubled over aluminum foil. That's tip number 4. Replace your lid not with 1 piece of aluminum foil, but cut it twice as big and double it over. So now it's a lot thicker, and then I carry a second piece, so if the one gets torn up, I have a backup, and that keeps junk from going into your food. That's the main reason. You don't need a fancy lid. The food cooks the same, water boils the same. That's a big misconception out there on the trail. I have a mini Bic lighter in there also, just in case I want to start a fire or whatever. So there is my cook system. Let's see, I think that's it over here. So we'll move over here. Here's my water situation. I'm carrying 2 smart water bottles of the 0.7 liter. Guys, in Georgia, water is everywhere. You do not need a great big amount of water capacity. So, and you come upon streams every couple miles or whatever. So drink a liter at the stream. This is tip number 4, I think. Drink a liter at the stream. We call that cameling up. And then just carry a small amount of water. Just carry, a liter, half a liter, whatever, 3/4 of a liter, especially if it's cool out. So I carry the Be Free water filter. I love this thing, and it's got a 1 liter bag. I used this for, several hundred miles at least on the AT last year. I do carry some backup MSR sweet water drops. Everybody uses Aqua Mira. 2 different sets of drops. You have to mix them, give them like 5 minutes, then add them to your water and give it like 20 minutes. This MSR sweet water drops, you just add this to your water and wait like 5 minutes and you can drink it. 5 drops for 1 liter, 5 minutes. And it works great. I used this last year. I carried it as kind of a backup. And if I was really getting into some bad water, I would filter it and add some drops. And that was just a little bit of safety. But if your filter breaks, if it freezes, whatever, you've got a little backup. And I just put it in a small dropper bottle. I carry a little scoop for bad water sources. However, at the beginning, you don't need this. All the sources are flowing like crazy. I carry a little bit of Dr. Bronner's. I just put it in a small bottle so I don't have to carry as much. I carry a backup lid. This is for my smart water bottles. If you drop them on a rock, it's easy to break the caps. So I carry an extra cap. And then I've got an Evernew 2-liter bottle. So altogether with this little ultralight setup, I have 4.5 liters of carrying capacity. With the kids and the wife, I kind of need it because I'm a dad. But if you were, this is an area where you could definitely save some weight. You probably won't even need this, especially down south where there's so much water. Later on, you get up ridge walking in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and some of the places get a little drier. I carry all of this in a mosquito bug net. This thing is super light. So I carry it all in that, and then if I need it, I have a bug net. But you don't need that in the spring. But it's a nice way to carry it. I carry a little Z-Lite sit pad, keep my bottom dry. And then, shoes I'm wearing are my Ultra Lone Peak 3.5s. This is a new style. And by the way, they run smaller than the 3.0s. So I had to go up a size. This is a 14, guys. Wore 4 pair of 13s last year and had to go up to a 14. Here's my trucker cap that I'm wearing. I'm pretty excited about this, and I'll explain that later on. Live simply. I like the Ex Officio boxer briefs and then Darn Tough socks. And I've got real bad vision, so these are some polarized sunglasses that just help me see better. So I like carrying that. And I do carry a digital watch so I can set the alarm and at a glance tell what time it is. I'll show you my clothing that I'm wearing, but otherwise that is it. So if you see anything that you are questioning, or if you have any comments, comment below. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll show you the clothing, and we'll catch you on the trail.